All right. I can see everyone. Can everyone see and hear each other?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Razzo, are you able to see and hear everyone? Thank you, sir. All right. Are there any preliminary matters before we go on the record?
Ms. Farnsworth?
No, Your Honor, I believe that our plan for today is a first appearance because he has not had that yet. And then we'll do a waiver of preliminary hearing as well as an arraignment entering a plea.
Very well. We are on the record in Kearny County District Court case 2023 CR 17 titled State of Kansas versus Jose Alexander Razzo. Would counsel state their appearances for the record, please?
May it please the court, Attorney Eloy Gallegos for the state of Kansas.
May it please the court, the defendant, Jose Razzo, appears by and through counsel, Heidi Farnsworth.
Very well. And for future notes, Mr. Razzo does appear in person in the Kearny County courtroom and in the custody of the Kearny County Sheriff. Mr. Razzo, before we started, I put documents on the table you are sitting at. One of them is a statement of rights to and of criminal defendants. Just for the purposes of the record, Mr. Razzo has been in custody in another jurisdiction with a hold in this case. This is the first time he has appeared in Kearny County District Court regarding these charges, so we'll be handling a first appearance ahead of time. Mr. Razzo, I'm going to go over each of these rights with you. At the end, I will ask if you hear and understand each of them. Before I do that, are you having any trouble hearing or understanding me now? Very well. You can follow along on your sheet, starting with number 1. You have the right to a formal reading of each of the charges against you, as well as a reading of the potential consequences in the event of conviction. You have the right to a speedy and public trial. You are innocent until the state has proven your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You do not have to prove your innocence. You have the right to have an attorney represent you at every stage of the proceeding. If you cannot afford an attorney, the court may appoint one for you. If you waive your right to an attorney, you may reassert it at any time. You have the right to confront and cross-examine the witnesses of the state. You may also present witnesses of your own and compel their attendance if necessary. You have the right to remain silent with the power to decline or refuse to make any verbal or written statement to the prosecution. You have the right to testify, but only if you choose to do so. Did you understand each of those as I read them, sir? If you'll flip that paper over, I'm going to read something called Special Considerations for Non-Citizens. I don't know if this applies to your situation. I read it to everyone in case it does, okay? Conviction of a crime can adversely affect the immigration status of any individual who is not an American citizen. This applies to all convictions, including most traffic offenses. Receiving a diversion can constitute a conviction for immigration purposes. Adverse effects to your immigration status may be significant. These include the potential revocation of your immigration status and/or the ordering of your deportation. Because of the potentially severe consequences resulting from a conviction, you are entitled to an opportunity to discuss the potential impacts of a conviction with an immigration attorney. Wishing to discuss the potential consequences of a conviction with an immigration attorney does not constitute an exercise of your right to counsel. You are not entitled to the appointment of an attorney solely to address potential immigration issues. Do you understand each of those, sir? Thank you. Mr. Razzo, if you would have appeared before me previously, we would have gone over the complaint, the charge, and the potential penalties. Some of the things we'll do today may seem repetitious. Normally, they would be handled at different times in different settings, but we're going to compact and handle all 3 today, okay? Sir, you are charged in Kearny County District Court with a 1-count complaint filed by the Kearny County Attorney's Office. Count 1 alleges theft greater than $1,500, but less than $25,000, a severity level 9 non-person felony in violation of Kansas statute 21-5801, paragraph A1 and B3. The penalty range for this is from a minimum of 5 months to a maximum of 17 months in prison and or a fine of up to $100,000 and 12 months of post-release supervision. And this is pursuant to Kansas statutes covering sentencing. When I say up to, that's the maximum that could be levied at your sentencing. However, there could be other factors, including prior criminal history and things that may affect that. Do you understand the charge that you've been charged with and the potential penalties, sir? All right. Normally, I would give you options regarding counsel. I will skip that because you've already been appointed counsel to represent you. Have you had a chance to speak with Ms. Farnsworth about your case or cases? All right. Very well. The record will reflect that we have completed a first appearance on Kearny County District Court Case 2023 CR 17. We now move to today's business. Mr. Gallegos, what are we doing today?
Your Honor, I believe we have an agreement in which the defendant will be waiving his rights to preliminary hearing and pleading guilty to the only count one theft in this case of KE-2023 CR 17. And this was in exchange with various various conversations with opposing counsel. The state, specifically Kearny County, will not be following an additional case that we have, which is Kearny County Sheriff's Case number 23-155 for alleged offenses of burglary and theft. This case at sentencing, the parties agree that he will be sent to prison on our charges, standard number, consecutive to his Finney County cases. And in speaking with Finney County, I believe that there's 3 cases, and if I'm wrong, or maybe one of them might have been dismissed already. I have Finney County case 2023 CR 300,042. I also have Finney County case 2023 CR 18 and Finney County case 2023 CR 174. And that is the gist of our agreement, that I'm aware of.
Very well. Ms. Farnsworth, is that the agreement as you understood it?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe due to a special rule having 3 or more thefts, he is presumptive prison. It will need to run consecutive. The only master case in Finney County is going to be the 23 CR 174. The others will be dismissed as part of a previous plea agreement.
Very well. Mr. Razzo, you've been present, and I'm going to ask you, did you hear what Mr. Gallegos, the Kearny County prosecutor, told the court regarding this agreement? Thank you. First off, I'm going to go over a couple of preliminary things. I've already asked you if you're having trouble hearing and understanding me. Do you need a court interpreter, or is English your primary language? So no interpreter needed? All right. And quick question, Mr. Gallegos, if there are victims in this, have they been notified?
Yes, Your Honor, my notes indicate that victim notification was sent.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Mr. Razzo. I got a little bit out of sequence because of compacting this. So first off, you've told me you can understand me. Are you under the influence of any medication or other substance that might make you unable to help your attorney or follow what we're doing here today? Do you have any mental or physical condition that might cause you not to be able to follow or participate in this hearing? All right. And this is a little after the fact, Ms. Farnsworth. Any reason why we shouldn't proceed and go through with the preliminary hearing waiver?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, so now we've caught up. I gave you a copy of let's put it this way. I left a copy of the complaint that I'm referring to on the table you're sitting at prior to your arrival. Are you looking at that right now? All right. And you did hear everything that was said by council. Is that the agreement that you entered into or agreed to? All
You can
right.
speak up, Your Honor, into the mic, please.
Sorry?
If you could speak into the mic, please.
Okay. Mr. Razzo, these mics are somewhat sensitive, so if you'd make sure you'd get it and speak directly into it, and they'll let us know if they can't hear us. How's that? All right. All right. Just so you'll know, a plea agreement is a bargain that you make with the state of Kansas, which means they will agree to do certain things in exchange for you doing certain things. Do you understand what your rights and your responsibilities regarding the agreement that was just announced are?
Honor.
Okay. Do you feel like you are receiving anything in exchange for entering into this negotiation? Is there something that benefits you to enter into this agreement as it stands today? Is this better for you than going to trial? Okay. Have you been forced, threatened, or coerced to enter into this agreement? You do understand that the sentencing is left up to a district judge at a future date, and that recommendations that are made generally are followed, but a district judge does not have to follow the recommendations of sentencing. Do you understand that? And has anyone offered you any leniency or promises of anything in exchange for entering a plea today?
Your Honor, if you can just speak into that mic, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that the record, the recording. is correct.
That's me or Mr. Razzo?
Mr. Razo.
Okay. Might have you almost yell, not quite yell, but okay.
I think the problem might be that his tablet is on mute, and so we're not getting the feedback from Jose.
It's the mic. You have to talk into the mic that goes into the speakers that then hits the
Well,
mic.
for the record, Ms. Farnsworth, are you having any trouble hearing Mr. Razzo?
Oh yeah, I can't hear him at all.
Okay. So,
I'm just reading his lips, and
Yeah,
I
you-
know him quite well.
Okay.
So,
make sure that, why don't you scoot one chair over just in case we have a bad mic and pull that down and we'll keep going, okay?
Sounds good.
there you go.
All right. Mr. Razzo, do you understand that you have certain rights, and we'll go over them regarding a preliminary hearing and trial? Do you understand that if we continue today with this agreement, you will be giving up certain rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
You also may be giving up certain rights to appeal if you enter into this agreement. Do you understand?
Honor.
All right. Are you hearing him now better, Mr. Gallegos?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Prior to getting into the rest, I will, for the purpose of the record, I will state that the defendant is knowingly and intelligently and voluntarily entering into this agreement. We're going to go over your rights regarding a preliminary hearing. Do I need to explain to you what a preliminary preliminary hearing is and the purpose of one, or has that been explained to you?
It's been explained before.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I'm going to go over what your rights are as to one. You do have a right to have a preliminary hearing or a preliminary examination of the witnesses. You have the right to have an attorney represent you at every stage of the proceeding. You have the right to confront and cross-examine the witnesses of the state presented in person through, although hearsay under certain circumstances is admissible. You have the right to present witnesses of your own, compel their attendance if necessary. You have the right to testify, but only if you choose to do so. You have the right to expect that the state will have to carry the burden of proof before being bound over before trial, and that the purpose of the preliminary hearing examination is to determine whether or not a felony has been committed and if there are probable cause to believe that you committed that felony. Do you understand these rights? Okay. Do you understand that as a defendant, if you waive your rights to a preliminary hearing today, you cannot, or it's extremely difficult to get these rights back? Do you understand that?
Honor.
Okay. Have you been forced, coerced, or threatened to waive your preliminary hearing?
Honor.
Other than the agreement that's been announced, have you been promised leniency or anything else for waiving your right to a preliminary hearing? All right. Then the court accepts your waiver and finds that you have knowingly and voluntarily waived your rights to a preliminary hearing. Mr. Gallegos, what is the state's position on a waiver or preliminary hearing?
We waive as well, Your Honor.
Very well. Then, Mr. Razzo, based on your waiver of a preliminary hearing and the court's acceptance of same, the court binds you over on one count of theft as contained in Kearny County District Court Case 2023 CR 17. And since we started, has anything changed that would make us not be able to go to arraignment at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. Prior to this hearing, Mr. Razzo, I kind of summarized your charge and your potential penalties. This is an arraignment, which means if you would like the court to do so, I will read the information as it is contained in the complaint that I have in my hand that you have in front of you. Would you like me to read the complaint in its entirety?
All right.
Right. Ms. Farnsworth, is that agreeable to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Then the court will find that the defendant has waived his right to the formal reading of the charge and move straight on to our next order of business. If you were to have a trial in this matter, you could expect that you would have the right to a speedy and public jury trial. You would have the right to have an attorney represent you at every stage of the proceeding. You have the right to confront and cross-examine the witnesses of the state. You may also be present witnesses of your own and compel their attendance if necessary. You would have the right to testify, but only if you choose to do so. No one could force you to testify at your trial. The state would have to prove you guilty to every member of the jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you are found guilty, you would have the right to appeal, and if needed, have counsel appoint you and cost waives for that appeal. Do you understand those rights? Do you understand that if you enter a plea of guilty or no contest, then most of these rights, including rights to appeal, may be lost or more difficult to exercise? Have you consulted with your attorney regarding your rights and consequences of your plea negotiation, your plea deal? Other than the plea agreement, has anyone made any promises to you in exchange for your plea? And has anyone threatened or coerced you to make this deal? Very well. As to count one of the complaint, which is theft, greater than $1,500 but less than $2,500, a severity level 9 non-person felony in violation of KSA 285801A1B3. How do you wish to plead, sir? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
What was that? Sorry?
No contest.
Ms. Farnsworth, is your client to waive or stipulate to a factual, or do you want me to state a factual on the record?
No, you can proffer the affidavit. That's fine.
Okay, what was that, Ms. Farnsworth? Rely on the affidavit. Do you want me to read that into the record?
Oh, no, you could proffer it, I mean,
Okay.
reflectively.
All right, Ms. Razzo, that exchange was before the court can accept your plea of no contest, the court has to assure itself that there is a factual basis that may have caused a conviction at a trial had you gone to a trial. And so after that exchange, the affidavit that was used to file this case is what's being proffered to the court, or attorneys are advising that they want me to use that as the factual basis. I will tell you, I am the judge that reviewed it first. I did find a factual basis to support this charge. Based on that proffer, I will find you guilty of theft, value greater than $1,500 and less than $25,000. Very well. Before we move on, I will ask each party Mr. Gallegos, is there anything as I've gone through my checklist that you feel I have not covered or not covered adequately regarding today's event?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
All right, same question to you, Ms. Farnsworth. Anything the court has failed to mention or has misstated or otherwise needs clarified?
No, Your Honor. I do have a question regarding the first appearance portion. Did the court issue a bond? Not that my client is planning on bonding out, just for court record.
I'm reviewing.
To make things a little.
Yes.
easier.
The original warrant stated a bonds of $10,000 cash or corporate surety. And that bond, that arrest warrant was not served prior to today's date. And for the purpose of the record, part of the reason that, other than this hearing, part of the reason Mr. Razzo was brought from his other jurisdiction is to be processed on this warrant per statute. So that was the bond amount. Ms. Farnsworth, do you have any issue with that?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So with no other, and again, for clarification for the record, can you think of any other thing I need to cover regarding this matter before we move to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we need a date for sentencing, which I believe would be on Judge Farrow's docket since she's the Kearny County District Judge this year. However, it could be on a different docket if this is combined with a Finney County case. Counsel, you were mentioning earlier that there was a potential agreed upon sentence date,
Yes, Your Honor.
right? What is that date?
The 24th of April. It might be the 26th. Kinley is looking really quickly. 24th of April at 3. And we are in front of Judge Farrow in Finney County as well. So that, for ease of purpose, should work out well.
Very well.
Do you want to set this at 3 o'clock as well, or 3:30, Ms. Farnsworth?
I'm indifferent. We could do whatever you want to do. We just, if we're doing it at 3:30, we have to consult with Judge Farrow's calendar.
Let's just-
She's pretty quick with sentencing. So if you wanted to share the half-hour slot we have.
Yep, let's just shoot at 3.
Okay.
All right, so that the court is clear, it's April 24th, 2024 at 3 p.m. in front of Judge Farrow.
Yes, Your
Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. And then Judge Farrow is pretty competent at managing the calendar, so I'm sure she will get this fit in a better fashion than I would. So pre-sentence investigation, does one need to be ordered for the Kearny County District Court case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and who can the court rely on to provide that? Normally, Ms. Farnsworth, we rely on defense. Is that something you can handle and forward?
Oh, the pre-sentence investigation form? Sure.
Okay, so PSI to be completed by Ms. Farnsworth. And that April 24th date gives the court services agency ample time to get one done. They don't like it when I schedule a sentencing with Judge Farrow 2 weeks out. That cuts them off. So this one's fine. So the PSI has been covered. Any other matters we need to discuss today?
The state's asking that the bond remain the same, Your Honor. That in the case, if he does this, in fact, get bonded out, that defendant shall refrain from any drug usage or alcohol and shall not have any law violations.
Ms. Farnsworth, any recommendations on bond?
No, Your Honor.
And, oh yeah, that sentencing, we're both agreeing that sentencing can be done in Finney County for our agreement with Judge Farrow, and Zoom shall be available for counsel if necessary.
Any objection, Ms. Farnsworth?
No objection.
I just had to ask. I didn't think there would be, so. All right. Mr. Razzo, I'll bring you up to speed. This is what the attorneys have been discussing. Both are in agreement that your sentencing, it will be scheduled April 24th, 2024 at 3 p.m. to coincide with your other cases that are pending. That gets you the chance to have everything done in one fell swoop. The attorneys also agree that your Kearny County sentencing can be held in front of Judge Furrow in Finney County for that same reason. Do you have an objection to that? Does that seem like a logical scenario for this case? Okay. And as far as the agreement on Zoom, it's the order of this court that parties may appear via Zoom with one caveat. This will move to Judge Furrow's docket and she will be in charge of whether or not that stands. I don't see a problem. Just understand it's okay with this court. Judge Furrow will have final say. And last but not least, the state has asked that your $10,000 cash or corporate surety bond remain in effect. I will tell you, you do have the ability to bond on the Kearny County charge. I don't know what other bonds you may have or where you sit. What I will tell you is if you are able to bond out of jail, the conditions for a Kearny County bond are that you have no law violations, that you maintain contact with your attorney until the next court date, knowing that it's your responsibility to notify your attorney of any change of address or phone number, and also that you are required, if you are on bond, to personally appear at your next hearing. Do you understand that? Very well. One last time, and we'll do this for both. Mr. Gallegos, anything further we need to discuss?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor.
Same question from Ms. Farnsworth.
No, Your Honor.
Very well. If nothing further, we are adjourned as to this matter. Thank you for your appearances.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Farnsworth. I'm sending you over the journal entry if you can review that so I can get that filed today. I'd greatly appreciate it.
Great. That works.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thanks. Talk to you soon, Jose.
Basically, he's entered a no contest